I thought the other one. Okay, big C.
Yes, we're in Hay base.
Right. Pretty good. Okay. The Kohen confirmed the large nega because of white hair, which then disappeared. Subsequently, either the white hair reappeared, or a living skin or expansion appeared. Whether the original white hair had appeared initially after the first week, after the second week, or after the nega had been declared tahor, the status of the nega does not change. The Kohen confirmed the nega because of living skin, which then disappeared. Subsequently, within either the living skin reappeared or white hair or expansion appeared. Whether the nega was really confirmed initially after the first week, after the second week, or after it had been declared tahor, the status of the nega does not change. The Kohen confirmed a nega because of expansion, which then disappeared. Subsequently, either the expansion reappeared or white hair appeared. When the original nega was initially confirmed at the end of the first week, at the end of the second week, or after it was declared tahor, the status of the nega does not change. Yeah. We had a case in the Makos that we're learning where the Kohen Gadol became Tameh.
Yeah.
And it was like, what happens then? So, we couldn't get into it, but all right.
For this Kohen Gadol.
We substitute, I guess. No. Deposited hair. Akiva ben Machal Rizatamoy and the Sages Rule Tahoe. What is deposited hair? Someone who has a Baharis with white hair. The Baharis has appeared, leaving the white hair in place and subsequently returned. Subsequently returned. Akiva ben Mahal rules deposited hair to be a Katame, and the Sages rule Tahoe. Akiva said, Rabbi Akiva said, I agree to this case, it's Tahoe because it is not deposited hair. What is deposited hair? Someone had a Baharis the size of a grist that contained 2 white hairs, and the Baharis received a half a grist, leaving the white hair on the remaining Baharis and subsequently returned. They said to him, just like Akiva's opinion is disregarded, so is your opinion not upheld. Any doubt concerning Negaim initially in ruled tahor, as long as the afflicted reward person has not been confirmed tameh. Once the afflicted person has been confirmed tameh, the double doubt is ruled tameh. How so? 2 people came to a Kohen, one with a Baharis the size of a grit, and the other with a Baharis the size of a seller. At the end of the week, both Baharis are the size of a seller, and it is unknown which is the one that spread. Whether both Baharis are one person or 2 people, each Baharis is ruled tahor. Rabbi Akiva says, with 1 person it is tameh, and with 2 people it is tahor.
Okay, so this Mishnah is going to contrast with the next Mishnah we're going to read. So we hold by Chazaka. Chazaka is status quo. So if both of them are tahor at the moment, okay, and we know that one of them for sure is going to be tameh, or even this is something that Rabbi Akiva just couldn't hold by, but the halacha is that if one person has 2 negaim, one was a seller and one was a gris, and he went into quarantine, and the Kohen checked him at the end, and he forgot which one was which, but they know now both a seller. So Rabbi Akiva says, well, obviously he's tameh because one of them definitely has expanded, but we just don't know which one. Okay, and the Chachamim say if we don't know which one, if you don't have a vadai, he's tahor. It's not called an expansion, and he's not called tameh at all. Okay, so now that contrasts with the situation where he's already tameh, and now the chazak is that he's tameh. So what's the case? So 2 guys came to the Kohen. So one of them had a nega the size of a gris, the next one the size of a seller. So at the end of the week, both of them had grown. Okay, easy. Both of them are muchlat. They go in and they go into they right. So they're confirmed negaim. Okay, shnei tamein. Now, both of them returned to the size of a seller, but we've forgotten which one started out as a seller. So if the guy who started out as a seller says, "Look, I've gone back to the original size. That's tahor now." But they say, "But which one was it?" And it was me. No, it was me. No, it was me. Both of them stay tameh. So once you've got the chazaka, then they both stay tameh until both of them go down to the size of gris. Okay, shnei tameim ad shechazru liyos kegris. Zehu she'amru mishenizkat letumas veikol tameh. So once he has been moved into the status of tumah, then any safek remains tameh. Okay, so that's by the way, that's something that we find in a lot of other places in halacha, is that if you have a chazaka and a safek, then you follow after the chazaka. Okay, so status quo wins. All right. Gufa shel baheres. Now, finally in Perik Shesh, we are finally going to actually deal with this gris that we were talking about. It's one of these other cases where the Mishnah sort of comes out of order and says, okay, you know what we've been talking about all along? Here's finally where we're going to define it. The Gufa shel baheres kegris hakilki maruba. Okay, it's like a Cilician bean. Okay, so this Cilician bean, and it must be squared. So basically, take the length of the bean and make it square, and that's your minimum size of a nega when we talk about a kegris. Makom agris teisha adashos, and it's equivalent to 9 lentils. And you can, I don't know if you've got this little diagram like I've got over here with the square with 9 blocks.
No.
Okay.
I have it.
So basically, it's a square of 9 blocks. And it's got and in each block is four hair follicles. So an adasha is a square with 4 hair follicles. Okay, and if that's the minimum required size for a michya, as we're going to see in a minute. Okay. Makom agris teisha adashos. So now, each of these lentils, if you line it up in a 3x3 matrix, that's your minimum size of a kegris. Okay. Makom adasha arba aseros, and the space of a lentil is the space of 4 hair follicles. Nimtzeu shloshim v'sheish seros. So therefore, your minimum size for a kegris turns out to be 36. It turns out 36 hair follicles, because that's your square. Okay, Mishnah based Baheres kegris. So if you have,
It's not very big.
huh?
It's not very big. The
No.
4 hairs, and it's not very big. It's small, isn't it?
Well, it's so the lentil is 4x4. Is 2x2 at least, and the gris is 6x6.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So gris is 6x6. Now Baheres kegris. So now you've got your Baheres, which is a 6x6 area. Uba mechia kadasha, and the healthy skin in the middle is the size of an adasha, which is the 2x2. So basically, you've got the 6x6 surrounding a 2x2. Okay, so that is the minimum size to have a confirmed baheres, because it's got the minimum size of a kegris, and on the inside is the michya, is the healthy skin, the size of an adasha, and that's your minimum size for confirmed. Okay. Rav Saha Baheres. So if the Baheres grew bigger than this, obviously it's Tameh. Okay, because it was already Tameh before with the Michya. So just adding growth onto it is for sure going to be Tameh. Nismata, however, if it shrinks to less than that exterior size, it's Tahor. Okay. Now that part was obvious when we should have known that already. But now the interesting part is Rav Saha Michya. Now, what happens if the healthy skin on the inside gets bigger? Okay, and here we start having a bit of an argument in the girsa that's in the Mishnah, because the Mishnah over here, it says Tameya, but everyone jumps up and down and says, no, that's wrong, that should be Tahora. Because now that the Mechia on the inside has gotten bigger, it's reduced the size of the Baheres, of the white skin, to below the required minimum, and therefore that actually becomes tahor. Right. And also, if the mechia gets smaller, it's also tahor, because the minimum size of the mechia is exactly the lentil size. So if it gets smaller, it's tahor, because the mechia is too small to count, and if it gets bigger, it's also tahor, because that reduces the size of the baheres to less than the minimum. Okay, and we've got time for a few chazaras. Let's go. Base hay.
A person may examine a Negaim except for his own. But May says also not the Negaim of his relatives. A person may annul any vows except for his own. Rabbi Yehuda says also not the vows of his wife that are between her and others. A person may examine any firstborn animals except for his own. Everyone becomes tummy from the Negaim except for Gentiles and for a resident alien. Everyone is qualified to examine the Negaim, but declaring that Tuma and Tahara is in the hands of the Kohen. They say to him, say Tameh, and he says Tameh. They say Tahor, and he says Tahor. Two Negaim are not examined simultaneously, whether they are one person or two people. Rather, the Kohen examines one nega and declares it confirmed the Tahor, and then examines the second nega. We do not confine someone. We do not confine someone confined, nor do we confirm. We confirm someone confirmed. We do not confirm someone confirmed, nor do we not confirm someone combined. However, initially or at the end of the week, when the Kohen confines the first nega, he may confine the second nega when he confirms the first nega. He may confirm the second when he confines the first nega. He may declare the second taho, or when he confirms the first nega, he may declare the second taho.
In other words, the only time the Kohen is allowed to view the nega is at the end of the Hesker period. He can't go in the middle and say, oh, there's a new nega now, let's go and take a look at that. Once a person's confined, he's confined, and there's no more looking at Negaim.
Okay. Base?
Yes.
We declare, I'm sorry?
Yes, go on.
Right. We declare examining the nega on the bridegroom until after the 7 days of rejoicing, whether the nega appears on his body, his house, or his clothing. Similarly, we may delay examining the nega on a festival until after all the days of the festival.
Okay.
A nega on
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Olos test dalad.
If the hive is of one handbreadth above the ground and there is tumor below it or inside the house, whatever is below or the hive or inside the house becomes tameh. Whether it's inside or above the hive becomes tahor. If the tumor is inside the hive, only that which remains inside becomes tameh. If the tumor is above the hive and the utensil directly above it, up to the sky becomes tameh. In what cases apply? When the hive's mouth is outdoors. However, if the mouth is inside the house and the occupied piece, of course, is located either outdoors, either below or above the hive, and any utensil that is directly above or below the outside piece or anything inside the hive becomes tameh. Anything that is not directly below or below the outside piece or whatever is inside either the hive and the house remains tahor. If the piece, of course, is located either inside the house, hive, or in the house, everything becomes tameh. If the hive is located one handbreadth above the ground and there's tumor below the hive, inside the house, or inside above the hive, everything becomes tameh.
Okay. Okay, we've got enough time for Kalim.
Okay. And I have, here we go. Hey, Yud. If one cut the oven into segments and placed in hand between the segments, Rabbi Eliezer rules the tower, but it's called tameh. This is the oven of the coiled serpent. Arabian cauldrons that one digs in the ground and plasters with clay. If the clay can stand on its own, it is tameh. But if not, it is tahor, and that is the oven of bendina. An oven of stone of metal is tahor, but the metal oven is tameh as a metal utensil. If it developed a hole, it became damaged or cracked, and one made a clay coating for it or something from decay, it is tameh. How large must the first hole be? Large enough for the flame to pass through, and the same applies to a stove. A stove of stone or of metal is tahor, but the metal stove is tameh, or a metal utensil. If it developed a hole or became damaged or cracked, and one made feet for it, it remains tameh. But if one plastered it with clay, whether on the inside or the outside, it is tahor. And Yehuda says, on the inside it is tameh, but on the outside it is tahor.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Vav Aleph.
Okay, and we have, if one assembled 3 feet on the ground and joined them with clay so that he could set the pot on top of them, this makeshift stove is tameh. But if one affixed 3 nails in the ground so that he could set the pot on top of it, even though he fashioned the piece on the top of the makeshift stove for the pot to rest, it is tahor. If one made 2 stones into a pot and joined them with clay, it is tameh. Rabbi Yehuda rules tahor until he makes it a 3rd stone and permanently places the stone near a wall. If one stone was joined with clay and one was not joined with clay, it is tahor. Okay. If once, that's it, right?
Yeah, and I think we're going to stop over there.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I don't know whether it's tomorrow. So we'll see what it'll be tomorrow. Thank you very much. Have a